Hello and welcome back. We are here continuing our Victoria run in Civilization 6. This is in anticipation of Civ 7 coming out on February the 11th. We decided we'd play a little Victoria, and by Victoria we mean not Victoria, but rather Civ 7. Or Civ 6, rather. And this is what we're doing. Last episode, we finally concluded our war with Vietnam. Let's get rid of this map tag. Dreams of another city there are never going to be realized. And it ended in a little bit of a status quo as they teched up and we realized that we weren't really going to be able to make a very good ingress. A consequence really of the combination of mountains and these districts make any sort of approach feel very, very rough. They have 4 encampments, and I think that us eventually going for them is probably just going to happen in a later era when we are more ship-oriented and we are kind of turning inward a little bit and going to be more oriented on catching up in a variety of things after we realize kind of our harbor and gold advantage and try and turn that into production and then try and turn that into further culture and science. Here is kind of where we are in terms of where we're going. Really hoping that this long canal is going to really generate us a lot of gold in the long term, something like this. And so we're still going to try and make use of the army. I'm not sure exactly where we could dedicate them. We could maybe go after a country or like a city-state like Armagh, where we're not planning on, getting them as a suzerain. I think we could expand in this continent either way, and we already sunk a decent amount of gold into producing the army that was just kind of came up short here, so we would like to make use of that. But other than that, we're going to probably be more focused on what everything's being produced in these cities. We're going to finish up these walls because, we're already progressing well, but you can see here we have production coming in from the shipyards in a whole bunch of places. We have our card in to produce those faster. We have industrial districts coming in. This is going to really help us to pop off as well, generating more production and food in a bunch of places. We can see here more shipyard stuff, and we will be getting our government district soon as well. What we're going to do is once we finish this government plaza and the subsequent building that will give us a worker with all of our settlers, I think then we will mass produce kind of settlers from as many cities as possible that are somewhat reasonable, following kind of us getting a little bit of a production boom, and then really try and leverage that. So this episode we're going to be kind of, I think, doing some amount of exploration and putting down of some of these barb camps and trying to find good spots for good cities. We noticed kind of in between episodes here, like this actually is a really nice spot for a city right here. We could build a +4 harbor district and a +6 industrial district here, which would be fantastic. Really a lot of production there. And this place won't quite stretch up to the snow, but maybe there's some sort of snow cities we can build that are somewhat reasonable because they have a lot of surrounding fauna from Sukhotat's oceans, something like this. But we have, kind of an easy 2 cities here that we will be looking at. A city here. I think this city we largely maybe abandoned because it really... all it would let us do is really pick up this ivory, and other than that, it wouldn't be all that great because a lot of these tiles are shared with the other cities. We could put a city here or here, and then a city here is what we're thinking, and so we will consolidate kind of this northern area. And to be fair, if this game, if the AI were a little bit better, the north is really kind of the hub by which we can do anything, because we can't actually penetrate in from this huge ocean area. We can't reach the other side except through this northern this one tile gap between Preslav and Birmingham is really kind of the cradle through which all boat stuff has to go, because this bottom portion is currently cut off, at least until the icebreakers or the ice melts here. So we'll have a more inwardly focused episode, I think, here today. So of the foreign powers we're trading with, we are trading quite a bit with Cleopatra, so I think we're going to go for a cultural alliance with her, which will hopefully kind of help out a bit with both giving us the Eureka for this, but also bringing this on up. I think it's about 10 higher now than it was before. We were at like 51. Now we're at 61, which is a 20% increase, which will help with the development here. We could have gone for a science research agreement. I think eventually we want some sort of agreement with Wilhelmina, but she's currently not a huge fan of us. She's in fact denounced us, which is unfortunate, but this will help us to catch up on the society stuff here as well, giving us access to better cards. We are behind in this. We're pretty far behind in everything at this point, and we need some sort of boom in order to catch up. So we have a pretty good opportunity here to turn London into an absolute powerhouse economic hub, much like how it was in real life, with this 25% gold yield in host city by putting our caviar industry here specifically. I do believe we can only put one industry down per good, and we get it available if we are kind of the leader in these goods, as far as I recall monopolies working. And this is a really nice opportunity here, because if we look at how much gold we are yielding here in London, it is absolutely enormous. A full 32 of these are from outgoing trade routes. Now, if this modifier applies to outgoing trade routes and the entirety of this should represent an enormous portion of gold. 25% on top of this, is going to be like 18 or 19 gold. On top of this will be making the thing more profitable in itself. And also, it plays into kind of the themey thing we're trying to do, which is to run trade routes from London all the way through these canals, which we will eventually build, down to Egypt. I think Egypt's going to really be our long-term ally, and so we will construct this here and hope that this kind of provides us our ability to get like these kind of multiplicative modifiers and stack them with each other in an intelligent way is one of the ways in which we can hope to catch up to the AI. And you can see here we've gone from 77 to a whopping 90 gold per turn just from London. And so we will be kind of with our newer cities, we'll run a trade route in order to get them off the ground, cities like Norwich, but after that we will send the traders to London and probably be mainly operating out of them. You can see that we have tons of traders that are coming along the coast here, and I believe they are going around to get to here. Or are they trading with Dido? I'm not sure. In either case, we are generating a lot of gold out of here, and it's just going to get ramped up further and further as we become more gold-oriented and put stuff down. We're also planning on getting rid of this farm here, which is going to be slightly unfortunate, and eventually putting a marketplace down there, because it will get a +2 adjacency from the being next to the harbor, and I believe the harbor gets an adjacency on them as well. If we take a look at this, we can see that we get +2 for the adjacent dockyard, and I think the dockyard might even get a bonus from being next to the harbor, and look to just kind of ramp up this bonus that we are getting here in what will be our crown jewel, London. So we just get diplomatic service, in particular Banken, which is going to be pretty useful. Trade routes to an allies city, of which, we have Cleopatra, or city-state provide +2, and I think that we are going to be slotting that in instead of the +1 gold from city-states as we kind of reorient our way around this particular way of going about things. They're still going for harbor adjacency and industrial adjacency, these types of things. We will say okay to this agenda. Sounds fantastic. We had bought a merchant out of London, so now we can see kind of the immediate consequences of this. We are an ally with, well, we should be receiving more from other bonuses here when we trade specifically with our ally, our good friend and ally of Egypt. But we do see, okay, the extra 2 that we get from having the alliance here, as well as like 14-ish gold, and this is going to really pump up London. It's not going to be the highest gold yield. We can in fact sort by gold yield and see that we would get more if we traded with Thang Long. We would get a lot more. Trading with the enemy, I don't know how I feel about that. That seems a little bit maybe not it, but I think that we could do this trade route, and this will net us 5 culture, which for us represents an enormous portion of culture, and hopefully maybe the card kicks in next turn and we'll end up getting +4 and +3. I think that must be what's going on here, so we will begin that route and start trading with Egypt proper. We also are ready to finish the Hui to Teocalli, which we could do by just, clearing this, which we need to clear eventually for the Panama Canal anyways. Oh, it wasn't in London. That was a Leeds thing. Alright, well, Leeds got a little bit of production. Oh well. We still do need to clear this out as well. I think we're going to have this builder come back this way. That way we don't have to move around Magnus so much. Hopefully no one finishes this while we're at it, but this is going to give +1 food and production on all lake tiles. So these lake tiles are going to be massively productive here in London, especially as we acquire more of them, even if they do not have the caviar. But hopefully there's some oil kind of peeking around underneath those. We will here, since we kind of want to be locked in on things for a while, we're going to go humanism. I don't think we're going to earn a great writer anytime soon, and I think that we will be working our way into some of these later ones. In particular, some of the things under civil engineering I think are a little bit attractive towards us. Like standardized measurements, for example, giving industrial districts buffs, particularly, and also this builder's card. We are also thinking that we might, if we have that massive, city building effort, following us getting the Ancestral Hall, which gives new cities receive a free builder, that also gives us 2 free build charges, then that's going to give us a bunch of builders with 5 build charges instead of 3, so that'll be pretty good. And more cities, more trade routes. We're up to 9 trade routes, and London, with that new trade route, is up to 108 gold, so we can start purchasing like crazy, especially in our newer cities, in order to get stuff done. We also are waiting on I thought that the building we were going to have, which is going to count for an entry pot, one of these buildings, the shipyards. I think we've completed at least one shipyard. Maybe we haven't, but once we get the Eureka for that, we will be ready to industrialize. But for now, we are going to start going along the tech tree towards battleship. In particular, this is going to require coal, and I think it's going to be the point at which we will really be able to assert like very, very strong dominance if we have battleship, and like with our current situation, with the way things look, especially once we dig these canals and we could just park battleships in here, there's really going to be no way to ingress towards us like offensively that is not just horribly disadvantageous to the other person. Even if they have a commensurate navy, just our maneuverability is going to be quite useful, and the fact that any sort of landing would have to, we could just park a battleship on top of Hui Tukali, and then you can't get at it with any of your navy, but it could still protect London, for example here. So here in York, newly founded city, we will probably be doing this type of activities with all the cities. We're going to buy our ability to build another trader, and then we're going to buy a trader, which is going to be fantastic. We're going to continue to buy stuff out of this city, I think. We will get started on our first district in this city, which is going to be a Royal Navy dockyard. We're going to have a +3 one there, and eventually they will be able to pick up the slack. But this trader is going to first trade out of York in order to boost it up. We have a builder here that we're also going to use to kind of harvest the whales here, but we're going to boost this city up a little bit before shipping the trader back over to London in order to extract the maximum amount of money possible. We're also kind of looking to take out some of these guys and then scout inland here. We don't really have a good idea what's in here, and we're going to find out. I think that it is 2 separate land masses down here, and this one in the north is entirely separate, and we can look to settle this entire northern one and really kind of expand our reach here, relatively undisturbed by anyone else. Here in London, we can get started on, there's an entry pot. Okay. +3 gold per ally the city has a trade route to, +1 production on all local coast tiles. I wonder why we couldn't build an entry pot to the other ones and we had access to shipyards instead. We definitely prefer an entry pot. Cannot be built in the same district as some of these other ones. I wonder what the requirement is different somehow. Because in a lot of the other places we didn't have the option to build an entry pot, so we just built the shipyard. Very curious. I think that there's a chance we would want to buy this, but since it produces in only 6 turns, maybe we just go for the entry pot here, and that'll be good, and will give us the Eureka bonus that we are craving here. But we do get the Hui Tukali, and as you can see, these tiles are becoming quite strong, especially the ones upon which we have the fishing boats, really yielding us a lot here in London as this becomes truly up to 110 here. a lot of gold. So we see some of the rebalanced district buildings will be quite nice for our strategy here, like the market. And I'm not sure the market is inconsistent with the, the dock, in the sense that this doesn't specify that you do not gain the additional trade route capacity in the event that it is... you already have one in the city from a harbor, so we might get this and get +1 gold per each. We did finish the financial district here up to 125 gold here in London. In fact, I think we could just purchase one of these things, but London has so much construction available, especially off the back of its trade routes, it does seem like a little bit of a waste to not utilize their construction. Although we can start building wonders out of their city. We're starting on the Kisiwani in here in Plymouth, and I think that what we're going to end up doing is trying to construct something like a kind of mega structure here for entertainment / culture. We've already put in quite a bit of science in terms of our country. We're a little bit behind in culture, and I think that this will be nice, giving culture to several different cities. I think we've scrapped the idea of building a city here in its entirety, but this eventual city will grab this cultural center, London will build this one, and Plymouth will build this one here, so that we will have, kind of a nice scrum here of buildings. Unfortunate that we can't put a wonder here from some city, because no city is in range of it. I mean, there's maybe a world in which we could possibly build a city. I mean, if we would have to sack Taruga and then build a city like hereabouts or something like this, and that would be a reasonable city, but I'm not sure that that's going to be in the cards for us in this run here. We've started to push in over here. Suleiman was getting upset with us because... we were passing by, so we just denounced him anyways, considering I think we're going to have to fight him for this continent, and fight him relatively early before Halep has any sort of reasonable defense. Unfortunately, a big portion of our navy is just trapped here unless we get, rights of passage with, our former enemy, Vietnam, because there is no way around out of this, kind of structure here, which is unfortunate. So we've denounced, considering we're shifting all our troops up here anyways. The plan is to go for Armagh, but maybe we go for Halep beforehand, and, kind of secure this little big island for ourselves here. We are also starting to research industrialization here, really looking forward to see just how much coal gets revealed on the map, really hoping that we have a lot of coal, and hoping it's on tiles that we don't have plans for already, of which, there's a decent amount of tile we don't have plans for. I think that we do have to place all of these before we discover oil, so that we don't brick our ability to place districts there, but maybe we even want the oil pump over or something like this. I don't think so, but in either case, this is going to be... Things are developing. Things are shaking up. Excited to see how much London gets up to as we build all the market buildings here, and as we put in a couple additional trade routes from London. So we are going to declare war on the Vatican up here in the north, which will generate grievances with people with envoys, and then we will march our troops in and try and get some vision here. Well, we know they have a guy that can come on out, so we're just going to set this as kind of where we are at. We also have managed to get suzerainty of Cahokia back by installing... we had lost it for a brief period of time by installing her. Not that us having suzerainty is especially important, but this is going to still be useful to us. We sent an envoy to Samarkand, and also one to Hong Kong, because we are starting to get some of these manufactories, consulates, and other types of buildings, and we have some of these banks and other types of buildings. We completed our building in London, bringing it up to a whopping 172 gold per turn. We're making 390 a turn, hand over fist here. We've bought a couple more buildings in York, and we are getting ready to bring our settler kind of up to the north here, although things will be maybe a little bit dicey in that we want to settle right here, and we need some kind of escort. I suppose this unit will have to do. We are going to try and put down what's going on. Well, actually, these guys should be enough to take care of that. So we'll send the crossbowmen up as well to deal with some of the things over there. And we could use a nice little build here, because Norwich is not going to be done anytime soon. We want to get this city settled as we try and fight for control over this landmass up here in the north. It's going to be a lot easier once we have cities here, because we will be able to buy units, really starting to get quite a lot of gold. We're getting a lot from agreements as well, in addition to cities, but close to half of this is from the great city of London, which we're going to continue to pile. Most of our trade routes are not currently in London. We're going to continue to pile in, and the building that's coming up is also going to give gold to more gold to London specifically. So things are kind of ramping on up with this. We might even buy our first coal power plant in London, or something like this, or a factory. Excited to see where coal gets revealed, because we, as England, do have a bias towards coal. We had literally 0 iron. We're hoping to have at least 3 coal kicking about in the territory that we have. Alright, we got the wee-woos, and along with the wee-woos, we have the moment of truth, because we are about to get coal reveal on the map. Hopefully it's going to be loud, hopefully it's going to be big, hopefully it's going to be an emergency for our enemies, because this is going to be a hell of a lot of coal. Do barbarian outposts. Alright, sure. And we will get the industrial era entering for us. Coal is unlocked. The sweet words of industrialization. Speed. Everyone loves the sweet nothings of Sean Bean in their ear. And someone's offering to buy niter. Wait, was there no coal discovered? Wait, what? What? No coal was discovered where we are. Wow, shout out to Great Britain not having coal. Real? We got a lump of... It's close to Christmas and we got a lump of coal in our stocking. The truth really does hurt. Indeed it does. Okay, we see 1 coal outside of our borders. That's fair. Okay. We have a builder near there. We can start working our way towards that immediately. And then we have a few more results. There's a coal down here. Coal over here. Coal over there. Yeah, fair. Coal in the city that was untaken. Dong Hoi. Coal in Taruga. Double coal over Melita. Wow, really? And a coal under Halep. Everyone gets coal but us. Merry Christmas. Man, that's rough. From I wanna be a real boy and have 3 coal to we didn't get 1, but we kind of got 1. Feels bad, man. At least we got the 1, I suppose. A little bit light on the resources. Really, our start, in a theoretical sense, is just absolutely disgustingly bad, right? We have very little land to work with. We're just all sea tiles all the time. This type of thing. And the saving grace is maybe just the city of London just being obscene in terms of gold production with multiplicative modifiers once we get these canals up and coming. But man, I don't feel good about any of this right now. And by any of this, I mean I don't feel good about having 1 measly coal outside of our terrain, outside of York. There's not even coal near Birmingham. We don't even have an industrial district there. RRP is a little bit off here. So this is where the gold is going towards. We set up shop in Sheffield. Seashells by the Sheffield, buying a monument. This is the turn we have found it. We bought a monument, we bought a granary, we bought an irrigation wheel, we bought a trade dock wharf, and we bought a trader all in one go here, setting ourselves up for the future. And now what we will be able to do is we will be able to put down our Royal Navy dockyard right here, which is going to be a fantastic one. It will remove the kelp, and also we won't get to bombard. We're just going to have this guy fortify. He was chasing down our archer there, or our crossbowman, and I think that we're kind of fine with him chasing him down, and then we'll just scoop up this barb camp or what have you. they might scout this out and a bunch of guys might spawn, but if dudes start spawning, then we'll just start buying troops out of here, as well as bring some of these troops up and deal with that. We need to just, like, kind of take a look at this interior. We're really hoping that there's some coal in here as well, because part of the thing is we wanted to make a bunch of battleships. If we only have access to one coal, this is going to be a little bit rough and a little bit strained on the battleship production. We do actually have one coal being produced from us and currently being used in the units, so we could disband the units in order to gain access to more coal, because we have permacoal, which is in this ironclad from a great admiral, but currently it's, oh my god, it calls to us, this settler, it does. Can you imagine we just jack up their 3 settlers in a row? Maybe we should be restrained. We don't have a denouncement, and I'm pretty sure we have, like, still have an enormous amount of grievances, so just snapping that settler. But at the same time, I mean, we don't have the military to fight her, and it's out of position, so this is probably just... Let's not do that. Beautiful. We finished the Kilwa Kiswani with the sweet, sweet nothings of Sean Bean in our ear, which will, of course, give us some pretty hefty bonuses. The Kilwa Kilwasi, at least when it comes to production of envoys, we get 3 envoys, and when the suzerain of the city-state, when you are the suzerain, you receive a 15% boost to the type of bonuses provided by that city-state. We are currently... and we get an additional 15%. We are currently, these bonuses haven't gone through, but as far as suzerainty goes, we have been using our slots almost entirely to gain suzerainty over, or we've been using our card slots to just generate as many envoys as possible. And while London was kind of in a horrible starting position, so we couldn't build Apadana, something like this, to really generate an enormous amount, we are going to have decent levels of suzerainty, especially because there's a lot of people with just kind of 3 or less in order to pick off. Like Geneva here, we earn 15% science when we're not at war. Well, we're not at war with a civilization, we're at war with a city-state right now, but we can maybe put this in and get suzerainty over them. We have not suzerainty over Samarkand. We're not going to fight over it for +10, but we have it with Cahokia, and we have a few bonuses. We have Buenos Aires, we have Brussels, we have Mojenhan Daro, which is actually fantastic for us because it is giving us full housing. Normally, we don't have access to fresh water on any of our cities. This one's fantastic for us. We get production towards wonders from here. Our bonus resources behave like luxury resources, giving us amenity, allowing us to build tall. And I think what we're going to go for next is going to be Mexico City. We're just not going to use the envoy because we would like to do it in a spot where we would have the +2 for your first envoy you acquire there. But regional districts effects from your industrial zone, amusement pier, and fairgrounds reach 3 tiles farther. That is going to be quite nice for us as well. But these guys' bonuses counting for more is going to be really nice. You know, the getting of additional production in each of these places, we're just going to be able to ramp up really, really hard. We wish we had more economic ones other than Cahokia and Samarkand in particular, but I guess we have Hunza that we could go for, but Matthias is really kind of locking down some of these. I guess Zanzibar's not locked up, and Cinnamon and Cloves are both insanely good, so maybe we make some sort of play on Zanzibar. They want a trade route. We can probably kind of find some way to help them out, and these guys want... unless we have... No, wait, that's not what we want. They want us to train a frigate. So, we will gain a couple more suzerains. We will gain options to build some heroes in Hippolytus. We haven't really made very good use of heroes. We probably should be a little bit more aggressive about it, but that is going to be good for us here. We get the good news, and we're, of course, in a golden age, which is going to be fantastic for us, but also, Vietnam is in a dark age, which is going to be extra fantastic for us, and we research steam power, so we can get started on the canals as well. Really, things are starting to come our way. Commodity exchange also is going to be great for London, kind of rounding out what we need. We're also poised and ready to attack Suleiman down here. Everything's just kind of about coming up in terms of getting everyone in place in terms of the units. We just need to move a few guys around just a little bit so that we can be ready to go. I think we're going to need one more turn in particular. But I wonder if we are applying a lot of... Oh, Dong Hoi. You go independent. I see. Well, their loyalty is falling, and where is the pressure being applied? Pressure by nearby citizens appear to be... Is this going our way? I'm not entirely sure how to read this, or if it's just going Free Cities way. It looks like it's getting pulled down, and it looks like it's getting pulled more towards England than any other one, which maybe means we get Dong Hoi for freezies, good dealsies. In particular, it's going to be really nice if we can get this coal underneath here, which would be producing +6 for us, because we accumulate extra coal because we are playing as Great Britain. So that is fantastic news. Other news, we will be in Leeds, starting to produce our first canal just immediately here, right here, which is going to allow us to connect in. And you can see the bay is beginning, the beginning of the bay. Now, I think we're just going to buy some windmills and buy a manufactory here. Certainly this is really great. Factories in particular, or we'll have to choose between this one. I'm not sure if I don't think we're going to necessarily have a citizen there, so I think that this one is better. Or if we're not going to have a long-term governor here, but what we can do kind of in the future is we can buy a factory here. Now the factories with the mod we have scale towards building the cities tall, where we are getting +0.3 production per each citizen in the city. So if we have 30 citizens, it'll give 10 production, this type of thing, which is going to help London to be even stronger, even more powerful than before. I think what we're going to do with London is we are going to build a coal power plant, if we can. No, we can't, sorry, we can't buy it, but we can build it, and this coal power plant can provide coverage, I think, to this is actually kind of far. We might have to build another coal power plant over here, but it can provide coverage and electricity to Leeds specifically, while we get ready to build out the Panama Canal here, which will connect everything into here. We will be able to move the troops, finally. These guys who've just been waiting around over here, we won't have to wait around here anymore. We can move them back to... oh, no, wait. Oh, they couldn't move through Dong Hoi, but now they can, because Dong Hoi is independent, so let's move them back as well. So we're kind of a little bit out of position, considering we'd rather go for Dong Hoi, I think, at this point. But it looks like they shift over our way anyways, by us having a lot of population, so maybe this is okay. We arrive here to do a little bit of a chopping, a little chop. I think we're going to end up building a district here, although it feels bad to remove this productive tile before we really need to build a district here, but I'm thinking that we build one of these mountainous districts. In either case, we can start laying down canals for getting to the sea as well. Can we lay down 2 canals? Surely not. No, yeah, we can't do 2 canals simultaneously. I think we will actually just switch to working on the canal here, and then that will be pretty good for us. We will need the second canal to really break through and open here, which will allow us to fully go from London to here through the water. Never mind that we could go through the water this way. That's not what's important. What's important is that we can go through the big bay that we have cooking up. So everything's kind of coming up as we want it. I think that also we do trade routes gain +1 production for each strategic region at the destination city is also going to be very strong for us. So I think we're going to build the coal power plant first, and then in the queue what we will have is going to be we are going to put the commodity exchange, and that will really allow us to take off with London. Just to note here, we're up to 260 gold produced, so over half the gold we are producing, or I suppose half the net gold we are producing, is coming from London. We do have a total gold income of around 600 here, but we're getting very close to half of our gold being from London proper, which is kind of insane, and is exactly what we signed up for here, turning it into the workshop and trade center and crown jewel of the world as it stands today. We do have a report on the greatest cities of the Renaissance era. This is one of the mods we're running, and this is the first time we've made it to the list with London here. Richest city, 276 gold per turn, beating out, you know, the most cultured and best educated city, Rock Cadet, or not beating out, being beaten out by Rock Cadet. They really, really value wonders in this evaluation. We do see that we have like half the population of Rock Cadet here, which is an absolutely insane city, but this is the greatest city in the world. We have been trading with this city quite a bit, but we are coming up and chomping on their heels because this is the first time we have been in the entire scrum in its entirety with London here, so expecting to probably be topping the list next time the list comes up with London, once things get going, once we build the Panama Canal in London, as well as maybe another wonder over here, something like this. This would be a nice little map tack spot for a wonder. Not really sure what wonder, but if we put that there, you can see we're going to be getting a bunch of adjacencies on all these cultural centers, really to help us pop off pretty hard. We do want to place 2 more districts with London, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. Someone needs to build this partying district, and then we do want to get a culture district too. So I'm not sure what the pop breakpoint levels are of us having enough slots, but London is becoming quite powerful here. We will resist the urge to build another canal here, I think. As strong as it is, as much as we want another canal, canals everywhere. So we win all the World's Congress votes going for paying for stuff with gold, which we have a lot of. New districts built by this player act as culture bombs for us, and Nobel Prize also going through, which is going to be quite nice. I don't think we can get this, unfortunately, built in the capital because it has to have adjacent to a commercial district that is adjacent to cattle, but it would give additional gold per outgoing trade route. But I don't think we have any cattle in the capital, nor particularly close. I think we have some cattle over here, but I think that ironically that cattle is where we were considering building a banking district anyways, because it would be adjacent to both of these, and so they would get pretty good bonuses, and so that doesn't quite work out the way we want to, but all of our kind of cities that are coming up, we are going to get culture bombs, and in particular the culture bomb we're most excited about is when we build a district here, taking over this will be quite nice for us in the eventuality that happens, so looking forward to that here. We're starting to also get into some of these industrial buildings in various cities, as cities are kind of finishing up what they are currently working on, so we're about ready to kind of turn into being more settler-oriented, I think. Well, this is a spectacular development. Our mighty British culture, you know, largely due to us kind of keeping them down in the last age, is overwhelming the Vietnamese, and they are flipping. And they are flipping at a decent clip. They are flipping with joy. For the British Empire, these guys are swinging our way, and with the speed at which they're flipping, I think that we're going to get these guys. We're going to get Dong Hoi, and we're maybe going to get a few more cities as well, without having to fire a bullet. Although, we are firing bullets over here, except we're not, because we're using samurai and trebuchets. No bullets, non-violence. This will be less non-violent, though. I think we are in position. Next turn, we will be declaring war on these guys and looking to secure ourselves the very, very nice coal, which will be our third coal, after this flips. So our industrial base is well solved because each one of these coals is giving us double the amount of points. We are getting 6 coal a turn rather than 3 as a result of, kind of bonuses that we have for as part of our Victoria Age of Steam, if I'm not mistaken. We receive a little bit extra resources rather than the kind of other ones. Is that what it goes? To production, to all strategic resources? Or we just receive more production and not more resources? Is it always +6? Alright, fair enough. But we will be able to supply a very, very mighty fleet, which will go through our big bay. Our nice bay. The bay is bay. So it is time now for the actual war. We denounced them several terms ago, so we do have a casus belli against them, and we will have a go. Witness the mighty army? I don't think so. I don't think that's how this is going to go. I think this is us just taking, you know, your two little cities and then telling you bye-bye now. That's how I think this rolls out here. But we will start rolling it out, as it were. Now, these guys, the cities have quite a bit of defense. We know that there is a trebuchet in here, or there was. I guess maybe not anymore. But they are really cut off from any type of meaningful ability to reinforce here. I think that we want to come here. And do we want to go after the quadrime? I think since we could get a decisive victory and they have to zone of control through us, we will go for it. We'll start bombarding the city, as one does, and we will surround the city as well, because this is also what one does. We'll come in here. Oh, really? We can't move through this idiot merchant? Great Babylon. Babylon, no! You're ruining everything. Silly Babylon. Alright, well, that kind of messes with us a little bit, because we were hoping to get through there, but okay. We will still be able to go after these guys, and I think that this will be a relatively straightforward war, because we are fighting pretty asymmetrically, but even if we were fighting asymmetrically, we have considerably more military power, more military units, and this is a no-wall city, and this is a no-wall city that we will be looking to take with our navy, which we are looking to free up from the clutches of this region. I think that we can come in here and... Can we tap them? No, that'll fully get rid of them. But we can come here and heal this up. But in particular, Bristol will be able to connect out. Once this leads in 9 turns, once this canal is completed, we will be able to just send the navy out through here and around over to Edurne. So this is going to be good for us and allow us to really wage war much better once we have, because we do have a decent chunk of naval units over here. These guys are continuing to lose loyalty. We are moving over, just in case they look to get a little too frisky, we're moving over the 1 unit we left behind here over to the city center, but they haven't really attacked yet. So I think we're in fine enough shape. We are moving this builder back. The builder is kind of waiting in the wings for eventually cutting that, but we don't want to cut it just quite yet. We do indeed make history by building the first coal power plant in the world. I don't think, we'll check the policies that we got later, see if there's anything useful that we want to point out, but we are now building the commodity exchange, just about ready to see the heights to which, you know, London can bear down. They are producing now a whopping 134 production. We're getting 14 of this from outgoing trade routes, and then we are getting quite a bit from the factory. We are getting 8 from the factory now that things are working out, and then we are getting some from modifiers, which are plus 30%, and towards building and wonders, which we are currently producing. I think the modifiers are from us being suzerain over all these guys, so we are getting an enormous amount of production as well, which is going to facilitate, you know, us kind of popping off to some extent. We are going to be building the Panama Canal at some point here, getting ready to stretch it into here, so why don't we just place it down now, so we can lock in, so we don't have to stare at the Panama Canal in all this time, and then we will swap it back to working on the commodity exchange here. What's this about? Cannot be placed on a canal? Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what it is, a canal. And so the dream is afoot, although it won't be realized just yet. We finish making short work of the city, which is going to be great for us. I said we finish making short work of the city, which is going to be great for us. And we will keep the city, I think, of Halep. Which is how revolutionary. Ooh, -6. Yikes. Fortunately, we can just come in here and buy a monument. And then we can move one of our... Did that handle the revolutionariness? No, it didn't. But then we could just move a governor over. I think that we're not really using Magnus right now, so we could just reassign Magnus over here. We do have coming up... Liang being assigned there because we want to buy a worker there, but we will reassign to Halep here, and so that will handle our loyalty problem until we can get a little bit more pop in this region, which is something we're working on, something we're going to get with Edurne, or Edurne, pretty soon here, but most importantly, we get that sweet, sweet coal, baby. We get that sweet, sweet coal. We also decided to kind of lay down a little bit of a mine here, even though the overall goal is to eventually chop, because I think that long term we are going to want to put here a industrial zone, because it's adjacent. It will have +1 from the mine, +1 from the quarry. We don't have an industrial zone here, and to be honest, we're kind of starved for ideas of what exactly to build here. And you know what, even I think that it would be better for us to build the industrial zone first, because we're not even constructing very fast here, and then push off the dreams of a better world, a world where we have the uber big canal that stretches all the way from London to Newcastle upon Tyne, because you know that we couldn't just go out this way and to London that way. We have to go through inside, and this will be a mega canal that we have coming on in. Bristol's also increasingly becoming a very important city for us. One that it's the only city by which we can get a what is it called, a military engineer. We definitely want one of those, but we're trying to get the production up in Bristol particularly. I think that we have trade routes to this city gain a +1 versus domestic trade routes to the city. I think maybe the manufacturing is better for us here, but we will do this, and then we will probably start producing military engineers following, making a factory here. I think we might buy one next turn. That way we can start constructing a railroad as well, and then eventually use those guys to speed up production on canals, because they get charges. They can use the charges to produce part of a canal, and that's probably actually how we want to get the canal out on Newcastle upon Tyne, is with military engineers rather than using Newcastle's production, of which it doesn't have very much. Donghoi continuing to lose loyalty, moving ever and ever closer to England. That is our grasp. Well, Gilgamesh votes to have a little bit of an intervention with us, between us and Suleiman, which is very unfortunate. Very sad. The saddest of sads. I think what we're going to do is I don't really know how much we get from industrial zone adjacency bonuses. We still have a lot of things producing harbors, but what we want is 50% discount on units, because we are kind of getting ready to upgrade a bunch of stuff, and we'll hold on to that for 6 turns as, the trash man picks up the trash. Talking about taking out the trash, we talked about upgrading these musketmen. Now, we don't have that much niter, but we can upgrade in a couple spots here, which is going to get us ready to go for our MOG, and also we can more importantly upgrade a whole bunch of caravels that we have in various places to ironclads, for which we have more than enough kind of capability to do this. We don't have the niter to upgrade these guys to bombards. This is the saddest thing ever, but we can try and trade for some niter. Yikes, we have some trade deals that we could put in that we've maybe been overlooking. In particular, we do want to trade most with her, because we are really not going to fight her, and get some trade deals in, but we can also look for ability to buy niter. So we could look for strategic resources. People are only selling horses. This is the worst, except for we were filtering by horses. Let's look by niter, and we can buy 96 niter for quite a big sum. I mean, how much niter are we developing a turn? Is this going to take us forever to get these upgrades through? We're accumulating 2 per turn. It will take us forever. We'll have to have a think on whether or not that's worth it, or whether or not we're satisfied with just a couple musketmen. A little bit unfortunate. I mean, we will accumulate niter over the course of a period of time, but it might be better for us to try and figure out a way to purchase it. I suppose it's not the biggest dent in our kind of... We have a bunch of places, though, where we have caravels that can upgrade, and since we have more than enough coal, we are going to go around upgrading all of these caravels, and we are 1 turn away from the kind of the look and see of what we will have to see in regards to London here, which is going to be fantastic, and we'll of course ignore the fact that we lost our worker to some barbarians up there. We managed to lay the tracks, the first beginnings of industrialization in our nation. I almost said in our nature, but it is in our nature. Connecting both Bristol and Leeds. We have now 2 military engineers, which is going to be fantastic for us. We are going to eventually need them to get the Eureka here on ballistics, because they'll need to build forts. Almost certainly we will be placing like one of the forts here, I think. I'm not sure where the other one goes exactly, but I mean, we're going to be getting Donghoi, and then it might be domino effect here. Donghoi is kind of throwing in the towel, and once they do, once the loyalty kind of goes this way. Saigon and Da Nang are going to be even harder to maintain loyalty on, so it's going to be really rough for them. But I think we're going to be taking a look here at London, the crown jewel of what we've been focused on this episode, up to producing 338 gold per turn, and that's without even emphasizing it. If we emphasize it, it goes up to 378 gold per turn, which is maybe okay, but we could just not emphasize growth specifically, and I think that that would probably be a good look and generate another 30 gold in terms of the total gold that we are producing here. And the reason we're not emphasizing food is because this place is a little bit overcrowded anyways. It's at 13 out of 13, but in terms of our income, we are making 739 gold a turn. 367 is coming from London alone. To be fair, this is partially due to multiple trade routes being out from London when they're supported, but we are going to be producing the Panama Canal, and then every trade route that comes in here, plus 10 gold, an additional 10 gold, which is going to be absolutely massive on the Panama Canal. But after the Panama Canal, but wait, there's more, and we will be seeing this next episode, but after the Panama Canal, which, as you can see here, plus 10 gold, upon completion, 1 or 2 adjacent canal districts are automatically constructed. The canal will be crossed by naval units, trade routes, then multiply the gold they get from districts at the destination. After that, I think we go Torre de Belém, plus 2 gold for every luxury resource at the destination from this city. When it is constructed, cities not on your home continent receive the lowest production cost city center building that they can currently construct, which is going to be nice as well. I think we'll get a bunch of walls in a bunch of places, but in particular, we can put this down here once we are ready to, and then kind of propel London into truly being the greatest city in the world. Right now it's the richest, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Again, friendly reminder, we are doing this run in preparation for February 11th. We will be streaming, I think, all day the release of Civilization 7. Kind of doing a little bit of prep for that. Wanted to also play with Victoria and focus in on the industrial age, and now we're here. We started at the bottom, now we're here. You know, at the start of this episode, I think we had like half this amount of science and culture, and we were significantly behind everyone, and now we are kind of in the middle of the pack, or in the upper kind of percentiles. We're only behind Gilgamesh and to a lesser extent Vietnam in terms of the science, but Vietnam is about to collapse. And then we are behind several people in culture, but not way behind, and we are way ahead of people in gold, and I think that we are pretty far ahead of people in production, considering we are starting to finish some of these power plants and such. And so next episode we should really pop off and start sprawling as we finish a lot of these industrial sectors and look to produce a whole bunch of settlers for ourselves, in addition to, you know, kind of picking up Edirne and probably trying to wrap up the war with Istanbul rather than keeping fighting it out. They are really small though. Wow, do they really just have like just the 3 cities and like no expansion? That is rough. We do want to eventually get a trade route to Zanzibar and suzerain them, so long term that's going to be part of our strategy. So maybe we even want to go after something like Leventa. Armagh is a subject of these guys, so we're going to be going after them as well and kind of take over this little island. But I hope you enjoyed. If you feel free to like, comment, subscribe, etc. I think we already said that, which is why this is etc. And other than that, have a good one.